Hey, it's me, Shane, Gemini Garage, and a little late night video here. Something I've been wanting to get after for a while is maybe help you and me brighten up our day a little bit, or at least brighten up this old test center here, the old Dosy 4002 test center. These are great. They've been making them for a long time. The new ones have lights, but the older ones don't. So I'm going to remedy that situation here by installing a light in here with a couple of LED bulbs, a 9-volt battery holder, and then a 9-volt battery. So lots of different ways to do this. I prefer, since you don't need electricity, to use the meter just to have a battery on it, because I don't need the light on all the time anyways, and it's just kind of easier to do it that way. One less set of wires to run to the power supply is always good if you ask me, but having said that, you could just put a jack in the back and put a regular 12-volt plug in there, like some of the other things for your radio equipment. So, and also, I can't vouch for how yours is going to be made. They've been making these a long time, and there's several different runs of them, and I'm sure the manufacturing process has changed here and there. So don't be surprised if yours is a little bit different than this, and you maybe have to do the process a little bit differently. So. With that, let me reposition the camera here, and we'll get into it. Alright, like I said, they've been making these for a couple days anyways, and so let's see here. Let me grab a screwdriver. And on mine here, I got 3 screws on each end here, and they are basically 1/4-inch sheet metal screws, so you can use a 1/4-inch driver or a screwdriver. Alright, and just pretty much just lift that lid off like that. Before I go any further, I do want to mention that the way this thing is made, because the edge of this kind of comes out, and I think they're all kind of like that, because the edge of this kind of comes out over the meter here. You can also get these LED lights that you can cut. You can cut them to length, and they're just small little LED lights that you would just basically like glue or stick up on here, that would shine down on here, and you could just wire it on the inside or bring it back to battery or whatever you're going to do. But just an FYI there for you that there's a lot of different things that you could do to get this to light up. Putting a little light strip right across here is one of them. So take this off. That's the inside of it. Turn it around. This one's got an antenna switch on it, so lots going on the back of it here. I think that's probably where I'm going to run my wires for my battery box, as a matter of fact, but we'll get to that down the road in a minute here. The biggest thing you need to do with this project is going to be where are you going to put the LEDs. And like I said, depending on the way these things are made, who knows. So the first thing we're going to do is loosen these 2 screws here. I got one nut here and one here, and then this meter will come out. It'll still be attached right here. So but once I get it out of here, then I will take these wires off of here. Then again, maybe I should take these wires off of here now, since it's kind of no, I'll wait till I take the meter out. And these are just barely on, kind of in here, hand tight. I didn't loosen them. I did check them earlier. I did take the lid off, but these were already kind of loose. So. Don't want to over tighten them though, because plastic. Alright, we've got our 2 nuts there. And let me check the camera here. Okay, and so we basically have this situation going on here. I want to somehow maybe put a couple of holes in the back here. There's already 2 holes. There's already a couple of holes right here. Which probably, I don't know. These 2 holes here for the studs there. So these bottom ones here will be probably pretty good to put a couple of light bulbs in. That's what I'm thinking. So basically just going to need to put a couple holes in the back of this meter here. Went ahead and put a little bit of green tape on these wires here, and then a little green tape up here, and then the same on this one with some blue here, just to make sure we don't mix anything up there. And I'm going to go ahead and just take a adjustable wrench here and loosen these. I think that'll be adequate. Washer on there. Okay, well that was simple enough. Famous last freaking words, huh? Okay. Alright, so now we've got our meter here. So I'm going to move this thing out of the way, and I'm going to take this soft cloth here and kind of set it on there. Alright. So there's a couple of ways to approach this. You know, like I said, this will work out perfect to put a couple of LED bulbs kind of behind here. So I don't really want to just drill a couple of holes in here though with this thing on here, because you know, you could end up with getting some pieces in there. You could probably drill, you know, a couple of 1/4 inch holes with a vacuum, and you could probably get all the stuff out. Probably not with shaking it around and doing all that. You could probably do that. The other thing you might be able to do is take and melt holes with like a soldering iron, melt some holes in there. The only thing is, I'm not sure what this face on the other side is made out of, and that could cause that to come off of the that could cause a mess inside of there, you know, doing that. So the best way would be able to take this lens off of here. So that way you could take the lens off, just drill a couple of holes in there, put the lens back on, and then just take your LED bulbs. You could get the bulbs with the casing around it that would snap into your holes and all that kind of stuff, but you don't really need that. I just a couple of 1/4 inch holes in here, or 1/8 inch holes, just enough to kind of put this light bulb kind of back in there a little bit. Easy enough to change out. Like I said, this thing here already has a couple of holes in it in the front down here, so I'm thinking just, you know, that should work out pretty good. Bulb on each side, so that's the plan. So now we need to figure out how to maybe get this, try and get this lens off of here. Couple little spots right here, same on the bottom. Now here's where you maybe have a real variation of how these things are made. Some of these might be glued on there, in which case sometimes you can get the glue off if it's old and you kind of go around it with a razor blade, but it could be glued on there. It could just have these little things on there. There could be something entirely, you know, different about the way that your meter is constructed. So just an FYI on that. So I'm going to grab a couple of screwdrivers and a couple of little other things here, and just kind of try prying on that a little bit and see what happens. And okay, I'm back, and I have one particular flathead screwdriver here. I'm just going to try and stick this in there and just kind of see what happens, if it even feels like it fits in there. Yeah, it feels a little wonky to me there. Let's see here. Does this one feel any different? Okay, yeah, it moved a little bit. So what I'm going to try and do is, instead of trying to, these slots probably have an exact tool that fits in there. But I'm going to try and take something a little bit thinner and put it in this edge and see if I can pop it out of there, kind of like a razor blade. So let me, okay, I just learned something. If you try to take this thing off from the top and hinge it off, you're going to run into some problems. And the reason is because this little screw here to adjust the needle, the way that's connected in there, it just, if you try to take this off from the top, it just doesn't work right. But if you just reach down underneath here and just basically just kind of get your fingernails a little bit, or just kind of, if you work it just right, you can kind of just pop this thing off, and this thing will just pop right out of there like that. Now the only thing is, you got to make sure that you do not turn this screw here, because that screw is lined up with your needle thing there, and that could cause you some problems. So there's definitely a little bit of risk associated with this project here. That feels like it's some kind of metal. So that's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back on here. Let's see here. I guess I should probably try and drill my hole this way in, huh? That would probably be best, since I've already got the cover off. So let me grab my drill here. Oh boy. Just going to use one of these center drill bits here. I already got one in the drill. Okay, I'm going to take an ink pen and make a little mark on here on each one. Now what I need to do is I need to take and line this thing up. I need to figure out where my holes are. So I'm going to bring my two wires in here a little bit. I'm going to put this thing back in here. My meter's up there. I'm going to turn this thing around. Take my ink pen, and I'm going to kind of mark where my hole is a little bit there. Okay, yeah, that came out pretty good. One there and one there, so that's good enough. Of course, it's on the back side and not the front side, but I can figure that out. It doesn't have to be perfect exact. Okay, so probably right about there. Okay, got our first one there. Definitely a delicate operation. You may end up trashing your meter doing this, just so you know. So, you've been warned. We're going to put this one in the same spot here. Should be wearing gloves, but woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? And that's where shit can get trashed. I think we're okay though. Matter of fact, this meter face is a little on the dusty side here. Okay, well, I think that was a pretty good success. I think that'll match up good enough with our holes there. We'll find out, I guess. But I'm going to go ahead and put this thing back on here. And again, we want to hinge it on from the top to the bottom. Now the biggest thing we probably need to see after doing that is seeing if that screw will engage our, will zero in our needle. Make sure it's working still, so let's see here. Yep, it's still working, so that's good. Alright, so there we go. So I think that is the hard part there, I think. But you never know. Alright, let's set this thing back over here. And let's go ahead and wire it back up, I guess. I can leave that tape on there, it's not going to hurt anything. Alright. Okay, I got these nuts back on here. It was just a little fidgety. And kind of pushed the... my holes lined up pretty good. They weren't perfect, but they lined up pretty good. I kind of put them through the holes there, and then I'm just going to put the meter back up against here, and they're not really going to come out of there. If they do, I might put a little piece of tape back here just to kind of keep them from falling out, but I'm not going to do anything too extreme to keep them in there, I don't think. Not really necessary. I'm going to go ahead and put my nuts on the back side of this meter here. There's no washers, just a couple of nuts. Very small, fidgety nuts. These were not that tight, so that's why I'm just kind of putting a little extra turn on them with those pliers there. Because they weren't on there tight to begin with, super tight, so. Okay, I think we're good with our wires here. Alright, so I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to take and think I'm going to run my battery box wires through this hole here. And then I'll just take the box here and maybe put some double back tape on it. Probably good enough. Let's see. There's enough stuff going on back here, so having that back there on like that would probably be fine. This already has a built-in on-off switch on it. Like I said, you might want to just put a battery holder back here and put a battery on there and put a toggle switch on the front of it someplace. There's all kinds of things you could do. But I think this is just kind of going to be the quickest and simplest, easy way for me to do it, since this is the kind of 9-volt enclosure that I have. Camera cut out a little bit there. But I just quickie wired these things up, just the positive to the positive, the negative to the negative there. I'll just cap these off here, Got them going to the box here. Put the battery in there. So let's turn it around and see if it's going to work. Get our wires out of the way so we don't short anything out. Always a big thing when you're doing stuff like this. Okay, so let's see what we're going to have here. And again, you could, oh, well, that'll work. Okay, well, 2 bulbs, that'll work nice, and that's good. So you can pick whatever colors you want. You could pick 1 bulb. You could, depending on how many holes you want to try and drill in there. That was a little risky operation, especially doing it free-handed like I did. Take your time. This plate on here wants to kind of spin. It's only adhered so much to that plastic plate, so you want to make sure you're pinching the face plate to that back plate there really good when you're drilling it. But use a drill press or something a little more stable, and you should be fine. But obviously that works pretty good, so I'm happy with that. So let me turn this thing off here. Flip this thing around, and I think since this is a very low voltage situation here, I think I'm just going to kind of fold these things over and put some shrink tubing on there, and just kind of maybe tape these up, put some shrink tubing on there, put a little double back tape on this thing here, and kind of call it a day. So a couple pieces of shrink tubing here. I'm just going to take and I think I'm just going to fold this thing over, put 1 piece over here. Probably really don't even have to heat it up. And I'm going to take this one here, fold that over. Okay, I mean, those are probably good enough just like that, honestly. I just need to take and put a little double back tape on this thing so it doesn't come flying off somewhere along the line. I'm going to take and maybe put a zip tie down here around these wires so that there's no way it can really pull out of there. Okay. Now that zip tie will kind of help keep me from yanking that too far out and messing with these. I think I'm just going to put a quick wrap of tape around those. Okay, so I think we're good. I got these back on there nice and tight. Got these on there tight. Got my wires good enough. And so now I just pretty much need to take and put some double back tape on here. Like that. Or maybe some Velcro. The way this thing comes on and off of here, you have to open this thing up to take the battery off and on of there. But that should work just fine. Velcro. That's going to be what I'm going to use. So I think that'll work just fine for something like this. It's not real heavy, so. And I'll put this piece on there like that. And then we'll just stick this about where we're going to want it there. And that should be good. If I need to take that off and change the battery, I can. Reach back there, turn it on. Perfect. Didn't have to drill any holes except for in here. Yeah, it's all stock and all original except for the holes that I drilled in the faceplate and it almost spun off. Alright, let me put my lid back on here. I think we're all good inside here, so Good to go. Okay, there we go. Like I said, you can use whatever color you want. Those just happen to be kind of a warm white, I believe. So, all right. 1, 2. Yeah. Still works, so good deal. Well, there you go. Another successful video, I believe. Like I said, there's a lot of these things out there, and there's a variety of way of putting lights in these things. You may, like I said, want to put just a regular 12-volt jack on the back. You may just want to use some of the light strips that you could just really easily just kind of adhere to the underside of there. You know, there's all kinds of different things you can do, but the point is you don't have to have anything elaborate. Just a 9-volt battery and a battery holder and some LED bulbs and a little bit of balls enough to try to take your meter cover off here. Like I said, this whole thing may vary. You could probably like I said, some of these meters may be glued in there. You know, I have no idea what you may encounter, so that's just how mine was. But like I said, the default way, if you're just not sure and you're just desperate to put a light in there, is just to get the LED light strips. They make them that you can cut them down to size like 6 inches or something like that, and just stick one of those up under this edge right here and run the wire back in there, and you'll be good to go. So if you don't feel like having to screw around with all this stuff. So anyways, I hope that helped you out and maybe give you a good project this fall or in the winter time to do when you don't have anything else to do and you would like to update your radio equipment a little bit. These are kind of nice meters, and it is nice kind of to be able to see what you're doing. Like I said, I don't usually use it a lot at night or in dark circumstances, but it is nice to be able to turn the light on if you need to. So anyways, there you go. So click the like and subscribe if you think about it, and Shane, Gemini Garage.